My beloved child, now I call you to listen, not merely with the ears of your flesh, but with the very depths of your soul, where my whisper has always echoed without ceasing. Do not let your heart hastily brush past these words, for they are not a fleeting thought, but a golden thread being woven into the next chapter of your life story. I speak not to confuse you, but to awaken within you a divine attentiveness, for something of great importance is forming around you and within you. You are not here by accident. The very moment you began reading these words is the moment I opened a new door before your eyes, a path not illumined by logic, but by the light that flows from me. I know there have been days when you walked with a weary heart, a clouded mind, and a soul weighed down by questions left unanswered. But today I speak clearly. I am drawing near, and I do not come to judge, but to uplift, to guide, to lead you into an entirely new season, a season of discernment, of restoration, and of stepping into the true destiny I set apart for you before the foundations of the world were laid. Do not shut your heart simply because you think you are not ready. No one is ever truly ready for a divine calling by their own strength. But I do not choose the perfect. I call those who are willing to listen. And you are listening to me right now. That alone is enough to begin. My child, this moment is unlike anything you have experienced before. This is not just another passing day. It is a consecrated moment, a sacred crossroads from which many doors will either open or close, depending on how you respond. I have whispered to you many times in secret, in those sleepless nights, in the silent sighs, in the way your eyes have searched the horizon of your future with longing. I was there, quietly. But today, I do not speak in silence. I speak plainly because you need clarity, and because I love you too much to let you wander in uncertainty one more day. You do not need to understand everything in order to move forward. You need only one thing: to believe that I am speaking, and I speak out of love, not out of anger. I am not bringing you a harsh command, but a deep invitation, an invitation to pause, to return, and to look straight into my eyes. The eyes that have never looked away from you, no matter how quietly your tears have fallen. I know you have tried many times to hold on to your faith amid nameless storms. There have been moments when you asked if I was still there, times when you felt you were dragging your feet with no light ahead. But I say this to you, my child. Darkness does not mean my absence. Silence does not mean abandonment. Sometimes I withdraw, not to distance myself from you, but to teach you how to seek me, not with your feelings, but with your trust. And now, because you did not give up, I come to confirm this. Your waiting has not been in vain. This is a crucial moment. There are things shifting in the unseen realm, things the natural eye cannot perceive, but your spirit can sense. I am realigning your path. You may feel confused because you thought you were on the right track. But I am the one who sees every bend in the road. I am the one who understands the entire map, while you can only see a fragment. So trust me when I ask you to stop, instead of continuing to chase what you thought was right. Let obedience take the place of logic. Let faith become your compass. My beloved child, every small choice you make right now carries a weight far greater than you can imagine. I do not say this to frighten you, but to emphasize one truth. You are standing at the crossroads of life, not just ordinary life, but the abundant life in me, the kind of life where what was dead is brought back to life, what was lost is restored, and the dreams long buried are breathed into again with new purpose. But in order to step into this, you cannot continue at your old pace. You must slow down. Stop chasing the illusion of urgency and begin listening for what truly matters. Do not let your mind be overtaken by the noise of this world. Do not allow your soul to be burdened by weights I never placed on your shoulders. I never asked you to bear the pressure of controlling everything. I only invited you to keep a tender heart before my voice, a voice that does not shout, but is strong enough to shift the course of destiny. And you will recognize it, if your heart is willing to be still. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Even if everyone else walks away, I remain whole, unshaken, and present. The only thing I wait for is your surrendered heart. Not your perfection, not your explanations, just your coming. Come, my child. Enter my presence, not with fear, but with trust. Do not come merely to escape trouble, but to step into living relationship. You do not have to prove yourself to be accepted. You only need to believe that I loved you before you ever understood love, and that love today is calling you back to the source of life, where all things are made new. Now, my child, as you have quieted yourself and opened your heart to listen, I want you to know this. It is in the very moments when you feel the weakest and most uncertain that I am nearest to you. You may not sense it, and your natural senses may say otherwise, but I am faithful. And my presence is not dependent on emotion, but anchored in unshakable truth. Even when darkness surrounds you and all seems to collapse, I am still there, standing in the midst of the ruins, waiting for you to turn back toward the light I planted deep within your soul from the beginning. Do not believe that the darkness is a sign I've left you. On the contrary, it is often in those very moments that I am working most powerfully, silently but surely. When the world becomes chaotic, when everything familiar slips from your hands, when those you once trusted turn away, that is precisely when I have the clearest opportunity to reveal this truth. I am not human that I should lie. I am not like man that I should change my mind. I am the Eternal One, the one who never retreats, and my love for you does not fluctuate with circumstances. I know your heart has passed through very deep seasons. There have been nights when tears silently soaked your pillow, unnoticed by anyone. There have been days when you smiled to hide a sorrow too heavy to name. I have seen it all. Nothing about you is invisible to me. Even when you thought you were falling into a bottomless pit, I was holding you, not with a frail cord, but with my own steadfast hand, the same hand that formed the universe and also knows the exact rhythm of your heart. Dearest child, let me make this clear. Your trials are not a sentence of condemnation. They are not signs that you have failed or been abandoned. They are the place where faith is refined. They are the furnace where your spirit learns to discern between what is real and what only appears to be. In trial, you will not only see your weakness, but you will encounter my great power. A power that does not crush but upholds, that does not destroy but recreates. You once asked why I allowed this to happen. I heard the quiet murmur of your heart. If you truly love me, why would you let me hurt like this? And I am not angry with you for asking such questions. On the contrary, it is in the very moments when you dare to be honest that I can reach into the deepest places of your soul. I want you to understand that pain has not come to drown you. It has come to carve a path toward true freedom. Your wounds do not render you useless. They make you real. They lead you to acknowledge your own weakness, so that you may return to my strength, which never runs dry. In the storm, when everything familiar is stripped away, that is when you will begin to recognize my voice, not through the noise, but in the stillness within. I am teaching you to discern my voice amidst the multitude of others. Not every promise is from me. Not every open door has been opened by my hand, and this is a great mercy. I allow the shaking to come so that all that is not founded on the rock may fall, leaving only what is unshakable, me. You believe what you need is for everything to return to how it used to be. But I am not bringing you back to the old normal. I am leading you into something entirely new. A higher level of faith, a depth of intimacy with me you have never known. And to take you there, I must first dismantle some of what you built with your own strength. I do not do this to wound you, but to protect you from the very things you thought were safe, which were actually chains. I do not tear down to cause you loss. I remove in order to place anew, rightly aligned, rightly timed, rightly purposed. My beloved child, do not let the pain convince you that I have withdrawn. It is in affliction that I draw near. It is in the moment you feel most disoriented that I am rebuilding the compass of your spirit. What you are going through is not the end. It is the labor that precedes something new. A fresh season is being formed within you, not born of striving, not from human effort, but from your response to my voice. My child, if only you could feel how fiercely my heart beats for you in this very moment, you would never again question my love. When you bow your head in quiet defeat, when you feel you have gone too far to return, it is then that I reach out in silence, holding you with a faithfulness that does not change. I do not need you to be strong before I come. It is because you are fragile, because you are broken, that I come even closer. I am not repelled by the messy parts of your story, by the shadows in your memories, or by the detours that ended in failure. I am the one who enters even the places you thought no one could ever reach, and I do so not to condemn, but to heal. There are nights when you wrestle between light and darkness within your own soul, questioning what remains, what is lost, and whether you have the strength to rise again. My child, I want you to know those nights were not in vain. The silent tears that fell were not wasted. Every weak and whispered prayer you thought no one heard, heaven leaned in to listen. I caught every painful breath, every sigh you could not put into words. I held them as precious pearls in the palm of my hand, because to me, nothing that comes from you is insignificant. I see the loneliness carving quietly into your heart. Those you once leaned on have faded. Relationships that once gave you strength have become sources of hurt. But my child, I did not allow this to destroy you. I allowed it to make way for a new kind of connection, not built on people, but built on me. You may think you've been left behind, but in truth, I have drawn you apart to be alone with me, because there are things I long to whisper to your soul that can only be heard when all other voices have faded into stillness. I do not seek your success through the eyes of the world. I am not impressed by the achievements you have reached or the things you have yet to obtain. I look at the heart, and there I see a flame. It may be small, but it still burns. And with just that one ember, I can ignite a new fire. I do not abandon you simply because you are weary. In fact, it is in your exhaustion that I desire to become your strength. When your wings grow tired, let me be the wind that lifts you up. When your legs can no longer carry you, let me be the one who carries you forward. My child, the trial you are facing is not the end. It is merely a pause, a quiet breath, before the melody of your life transitions into a new song. You may not yet see it, but I am ready to open another door. This door does not carry empty promises, but truth. Truth that I will walk with you every step, never leaving, never changing. This door opens not because you have earned it, but because I love you. That love is not based on what you can do, but flows from my very nature. For I am love, and true love never gives up. You once thought you had to do better for me to love you the way I did before. But I never loved you less just because you were weak. I never withdrew my promises simply because you were not perfect. My love does not shift like human affection. It is not fragile like fleeting emotion. It does not retreat when you fall short. On the contrary, it is when you feel you have nothing left that I offer you everything. It is at the end of yourself that I begin a new chapter. It is in the dark that I begin writing light. My child, I know there is something deep inside you yearning for more, not just temporary help, not just a fleeting miracle. You are longing for presence, something real, not fabricated, not passing, not tied to circumstances. And that longing has drawn me to you. For I did not come only to fix your problems. I came to dwell with you. I do not merely want to touch your situation. I want to take hold of your heart. I do not merely want to offer grace. I long to become the unshakable refuge of your soul. Let me be the place you return to, not because you have nowhere else to go, but because you know this is where you truly belong. Do not be afraid to bring me the things you have tried to hide. I am not intimidated by the darkness within you. I have come with light to shine through it. I do not step back from what you cannot put into words. I hear even your silence. And it is in the deepest places within you, the ones you think are barren, that I long to sow life again. My beloved, if you understood the things that are unfolding in the realm of the Spirit at this very moment, you would know that not every trial is meant to break you. There are things happening behind the veil, beyond the reach of natural sight. Battles are being arranged not to destroy you, but to forge you into the person I envisioned long before time began. You are not just living an ordinary life. You are moving within a divine plan, wrapped in my wisdom and love. And I will not let that plan fall apart because of a passing storm in your life. There are times I allow waiting to stretch longer than you had hoped. Not to punish you, but to shield your soul from things you are not yet prepared to face. I do not grant every request the moment it leaves your lips. Not because I am ignoring you, but because I am protecting you from doors that are not ready to be opened. Every time I hold something back, it is not a sign I have forgotten you, but proof that I remember you well enough not to let you fall into something that would pull you off the path of heaven's design. There are moments when you look around and see others stepping quickly into their blessings, while you remain in the same place. You feel as though you've been left behind. But my child, I do not measure success by speed. I measure the heart. They may arrive at the destination before you, but that does not mean you are late. You are moving in the rhythm I have set uniquely for you, a rhythm untouched by human expectations, unshaken by shallow comparisons, and guided by a deep sound from heaven. The very sound of my voice echoing in your spirit. I see how hard you've tried. I see you holding back your tears in front of others, keeping a smile on your face, even while turmoil brews within. But, my beloved, do not think that being strong before the world is what pleases me. I do not ask for a facade. I long for honesty. I am not impressed by the mask. I search for the brokenness that is willing to yield. Come to me not with something polished or prearranged, but with yourself, just as you are, with your tears, your inner conflict, and even the disappointments you haven't yet dared to voice. For I am a father, and a true father does not turn away when his child is weak. A father does not withdraw his promises because his child stumbled. A father's love does not waver when his child is slow to move, nor does it lessen when the child loses direction. On the contrary, it is when you are lost that I go farther to find you. It is when you collapse that I bend lower to lift you. It is when you can no longer form prayers that I still hear the silent groanings from the depths of your soul. My child, I have never missed an appointment. When I say I will sustain you, it is not a metaphor. When I promise to cover you, it is not poetic language. It is truth sealed by blood, by my eternal presence. I have stood with those who walked through fire. I have been with the ones I love in the deepest night. And now I am with you in the midst of your trial, not from afar, but from within, not distant, but near, so near that if you would pause long enough, you would feel my breath against your soul. I see every step you take, even the ones made in doubt. I know each moment of hesitation, every second you battle between faith and fear. But what delights me is not that you always get it right, but that you keep coming back to me even when your heart is tangled with confusion. That is true worship. Not lofty words, but a heart that chooses faithfulness in the midst of uncertainty. A soul that dares to trust me when nothing else in life seems to shine. And that, my child, is worth more than gold. That is the kind of faith that moves heaven. It is the trust I planted in you to withstand every temptation, every counterfeit voice, every accusation. It is the light that darkness cannot extinguish, the flame that continues to burn even when the storm rages its hardest. Remember this: I do not need you to be perfect. I need you to be present. I am not asking you to have all the answers. I only ask that you keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking. And I will open, not a temporary door, but a door that leads to life, real, full, unstealable life. I will take you there, not by your strength, but by my faithfulness. So do not lose heart. Do not conclude your story in the middle of an unfinished chapter. Do not let a fleeting feeling determine the course of your life. Fix your eyes on me, not with eyes clouded by doubt, but even with the smallest flicker of hope. because I will not snuff out a smoldering wick. I will not turn away from a cry that is sincere. I will not ignore the soul that seeks me. And my child, I know you are seeking. That is why I am speaking to you now. My beloved child, today I want to speak to you about something with immense significance, something not everyone immediately perceives, the power hidden in the choices you make each day. You may believe that only major decisions carry spiritual weight, but I want you to understand clearly, even the smallest response in your heart can alter the course of an entire season, because in my kingdom, nothing is insignificant when it comes from a heart of obedience. I have given you the gift of choice, not so you would live in fear of choosing wrong, but so you may come to realize that the freedom you hold is a sacred privilege, born from love, not compulsion. Each morning when you wake, the thoughts you entertain and the direction you set your heart upon are drawing the path ahead. And the wonder is this: I walk with you through every one of those choices. I do not wait at the end for you to arrive. I journey beside you through every step, every decision. Every moment your eyes lift to me and you ask, Lord, what pleases you more? Some choices may appear ordinary, choosing to forgive when you have every reason to be angry, choosing silence when you could justifiably retaliate, slowing your pace to lift someone weaker. These, my child, are weapons of light in your hands. You do not need a platform to transform the world. Each time you choose to live in truth, even when no one sees, you push back the darkness. Each act of forgiveness breaks a chain that has bound generations. Every time you choose to trust me, despite everything around you beckoning you to doubt, you are declaring that my kingdom is real and that it is already at work within your life. My child, you are not a lost soul adrift in a sea of nameless faces. Your name is engraved on the palm of my hand. Your life is a thread woven into the great tapestry I am carefully crafting. And because of that, every choice you make affects not only your journey, but the lives of those around you and the generations to come. Every action of yours is a seed, and even if you do not see the harvest now, heaven remembers. I remember. There are choices you've made that you've regretted. I know. There have been moments when you've whispered to yourself, what if I had chosen differently? But, my child, I do not desire for you to live bound by remorse. I did not create you to constantly look back. I have used even your missteps to bring you into alignment. I have taken your imperfect choices and turned them into lessons of wisdom. And today, if you are willing, I can begin something beautiful from right where you stand, not in spite of your past, but through it. Choice is not limited to what you do externally. It lives also in what you cultivate internally. You can choose to cling to bitterness or release it and receive healing. You can choose to hold on to your wounds or hand them to me and walk into restoration. You can choose to strive endlessly for control or surrender and allow me to carry the weight for you. And I tell you truly, what I am able to carry, you cannot, and what you refuse to release will block what I long to give. I know. It is not always clear which path you should take. That is why I have not only given you the gift of choice, but also the Holy Spirit to guide you. Do not believe that you must decide alone. Do not think that logic alone must produce your answers. My voice does not always come with thunder or flashes of light. More often, it is a gentle stirring within, a quiet peace amid the clamor of countless voices. Learn to listen for that. Pay attention to where peace remains, for that is where I dwell. O my child, choice is not something to be feared. It is a sacred reminder that you are not powerless. You have not been cast adrift in life without a paddle. You are not the victim of circumstance. In me, you have the authority to reshape reality by walking in divine wisdom, and each time you align your will with mine, even in the smallest of steps, you are dismantling the strategies of the enemy in the unseen realm. You are stepping out of invisible chains and into a place where light penetrates every shadowed corner. And my child, no choice is ever too late when your heart turns toward me. There is no moment too far gone to return and say, Father, lead me. I have never shut the door to those who seek me with sincerity. I have never turned away a soul willing to step into true transformation. And if today you find yourself standing at a crossroads, uncertain of which path to take, this is what I say to you. Choose me first, and I will reveal the rest. My beloved, do not underestimate the weight of each decision you make, even those that begin only as thoughts. Not every battle is fought in the open. Some are won in the silence. When you choose to trust me in secret, when you remain still instead of reacting in the flesh, when you walk in peace instead of surrendering to the voice of fear, I see those moments, small in the eyes of the world yet eternal in their significance, and I treasure every time you choose me when the path ahead is anything but easy. You are not living merely for yourself. Your life is a current in the river of my greater story. There are souls destined to be touched through your presence. There are doors that will be opened, not by loud prayers, but by the quiet steadfastness of how you live each day. You are the salt of the earth, not because of grand acts, but because you refuse to let the small go unnoticed. You are the light of the world, not because you shine loudly in crowds, but because you dare to keep your flame burning in hidden places where no one sees. My dear one, I know there are moments when you feel too small among towering influences. Times when you wonder if your forgiveness, your quiet prayers, your hidden obedience really make a difference. But I tell you this, every time you choose my way, something shifts in the spiritual realm. A chain cracks, a shadow flees, a generation behind you is drawn closer to the light. There are ripples you will never witness in this lifetime, but when you cross into eternity, you will stand in awe of what was woven simply through your choices to love, to believe, to endure for my name. And because of that impact, you must understand this truth. The enemy knows the value of your choices. He does not attack you at random. He aims for the moments when you are about to decide something that could shift destinies. He knows that if you keep your heart upright, if you refuse to retaliate with bitterness, if you cling to faith even in the fog, then the gates of heaven will open and my power will be released. So he sows doubts, delays, emotional overwhelm to tempt you to choose what is easy instead of what is right. My child, you are not alone in this battle. I have not left you to fight on your own. I have given you spiritual weapons, not so you merely stand and endure, but so that you may rise and push back. I have given you my word, mightier than all the weapons of this world. I have given you prayer, not as a ritual, but as a lifeline that connects you directly to me. I have given you wisdom, not born of education, but birthed from a heart that listens to me with steadfast devotion. And above all, I have given you a power that no one can take from you. The power to choose what is right, even when everything around you pulls in the opposite direction. No temptation is too strong when you choose to lean on me. No burden is too heavy when you lay it at my feet. No failure is final when you choose to rise again in my name. My child, your choices are not only shaping your own life, they are reshaping the atmosphere around you. Every time you choose to walk in the light, a piece of territory once held by darkness is reclaimed. Every time you obey my whisper instead of the voice of fear, you are opening a pathway for my grace to flow into your entire community. And even in the moments that feel hidden, unnoticed by others, it is then that I am using you as a bridge between life and the souls longing to see truth. Do not underestimate the power of quiet obedience. Do not think humility carries no strength. Do not mistake your silent choices for weakness. In my kingdom, these are among the most powerful weapons. It was surrender that brought down the walls of great cities. It was obedience that led an entire nation to freedom. And it is the choice to trust me, even without seeing immediate results, that has allowed me to move supernaturally in the lives of many. And now, I long to do the same through you. So, my child, do not let weariness convince you that your choices hold no worth. Do not let delays deceive you into thinking I do not see. I see. I remember. I am at work. And if you still have the strength to choose me once more, even if only in a whisper, in a lifted gaze, in a simple prayer, then that alone is the sound of heaven's victory echoing on the battlefield. My beloved, it is time for you to look back at your choices not as scattered acts, but as divine fragments coming together to form a heavenly mosaic that I am painting over your life. Not one act of obedience is meaningless. Not a single decision, no matter how small, is without eternal resonance. You may think you're walking quietly, step by step, but in truth, you are shaking the very ground of the Spirit wherever your feet tread. Perhaps you cannot yet see this clearly, for your eyes are still veiled by the mist of the present. But I see the whole picture. I see it all. I see when you remain silent, even when you could defend your own honor. I see when you extend a hand to help, though you yourself are lacking. I see every moment you choose kindness over demanding justice in your own way. These moments may go unnoticed by the world, but they are etched deeply into the memory of heaven. Each one is a stone laid in the spiritual temple I am building in this darkened age. Know this, my child. The power to choose is part of my image stamped upon your soul. I did not create you as a tool to be used, but as a companion, to respond to me in love, in freedom, and in trust. When you choose to walk in the light, you are not only expressing faith, you are co-laboring with me in establishing my kingdom. And this is not just an abstract spiritual idea. It is happening, truly and tangibly, right now. Through every reaction and every decision you make in the ordinary moments of life. Do not let your heart be swayed by the voices around you that glorify ease and convenience. The world will call surrender weakness. It will label kindness as naivety and view sacrifice as foolishness. But I tell you this, it is precisely through these things that you walk in true authority. Authority does not come from ruling over others, but from mastering oneself. When you choose not to compromise, You are pushing back the shadows the enemy seeks to plant through every thought and temptation. There will be moments when you feel depleted, as if every decision you make brings no visible reward. But, my child, I want you to remember this truth. Not every seed sprouts in the season you expect. Some choices you make today will bear fruit in a season you did not anticipate. Some acts of obedience now will guard you from dangers you cannot yet see. And some seeds sown in quiet faith today will blossom in the lives of your children or in the lives of people you may never meet. I know you are standing in the midst of difficult choices. There will be times when doing the right thing costs you something dear. There will be moments when you must release what you love in order to preserve a pure conscience. I see your tears when you choose to step back so that others may move forward. I hear the cry of your heart in the solitude of your sacrifice when you walk away from what's easy in order to hold on to what's righteous. And, my beloved, I do not let any of that vanish like smoke. I store it all within me as a reward carefully prepared for the appointed time. I do not promise that you will always see the results immediately, but I promise you this: not one thing done for me will be overlooked. Even a cup of cold water given in sincerity, I will not forget. Even the whispered prayer in the middle of the night, I record in my heart. Even when you choose to forgive once more, though the other person never changes, I see it as a resounding spiritual victory. My child, do you know what brings joy to heaven? Not grand miracles or eloquent sermons, but a repentant heart, a spirit that bows low, and a soul that chooses to return to the light. And I see that in you. I see it every time you stand at the crossroads and choose, even slowly, to take a step toward me. I see it when you cannot feel my presence, but still whisper, "I believe in you." I see it when trials press hard, and yet you guard your lips from bitterness. Each of those choices is a priceless gem. They do not merely shape a beautiful personal journey. They proclaim to the heavens and the earth that light still shines in this world. And I say this to you: what you are sowing in secret will become a song of triumph in the coming season. The brave decisions you are making today will one day become shelter for others who follow. Oh, my beloved, among all the things you have ever questioned, perhaps the deepest one has been this: am I truly loved? I know there are days when you cannot feel that love, moments when you feel left behind, invisible among countless other faces. I have seen the quiet questions in your mind. Do you still remember me? Do I still matter to you, among the millions crying out in prayer? And, my child, today I come to silence those doubts with an unshakable truth. I love you. I have never stopped loving you. And that love has not wavered, not even for a moment. You don't need to do anything for me to love you more, and there's nothing you can do that would make me love you less. My love is not based on performance, not measured by achievements, and not diminished by failures. I loved you before you even knew who you were. My eyes were set on your life long before you knew how to call my name, and no matter how many times you've lost your way, I remain the one who goes ahead to find you, the one who patiently waits at the path home, and the one who calls your name with a voice that no one else can imitate. Perhaps you've been hurt by those you trusted. Perhaps their promises fell through, and their affection faded over time. But my child, I am not like them. I do not withdraw my words once they've been spoken. I do not turn away when you are weak. I do not grow silent out of disappointment. I remain, waiting for you, longing for you, and calling you back with a love that asks for nothing in return. My love is not a reward, it is the foundation. You are not loved because you are worthy. You are worthy because you are loved. My child, what I long for is not perfection from you. I don't need you to come to me wearing your best or pretending to be morally upright. I don't ask you to clean yourself up before daring to come close. On the contrary, I want you to bring me every part of you that remains unhealed. Bring me your fears, your shame, and those dark corners you've tried to hide. I do not recoil from the darkness. I am the light, and this light does not condemn you, but reveals what is in need of healing. Perhaps you've avoided me. Perhaps you feel unworthy to pray, to seek, or even to lift your eyes. But I have never left. Even when you don't call my name, I still protect you. When you are silent, I still whisper. When you turn away, I still wait with patience. And today, I do not come to your door with thunder, but with a gentle call, quiet as breath, yet deeper than any sound you've ever heard. My child, come home. Come home not as a criminal, but as one who is welcomed. Come not with fear of rebuke, but with the anticipation of being embraced. There is no distance between you and me that my love cannot cross. There is no sin my blood cannot redeem. You are not forgotten. You are not excluded. You are not disqualified from grace. In the moment you feel you have nothing left to offer, that is the very moment you hold what I seek most, a surrendered heart. I want you to know that I'm not calling you back to return you to where you began. I'm not restoring you just to relive old defeats. I'm calling you home to lead you into something entirely new. A design you've never imagined. A season of blessing you never dared to hope for. My love does not only forgive, it renews. It doesn't just welcome you back, it lifts you up. It doesn't just bind the wounds, it places a new crown in your hands. A crown of grace, of calling, of a mission restored. My child, I do not see you as someone who failed. I see you as one called by name, chosen in love, destined to carry the influence of heaven upon this earth. Even if you have strayed, that does not erase my original choice. Even if you have been weak, it does not undo what I have spoken. The enemy wants you to believe you've gone too far to return. No road is too late if you're willing to stop and turn around. There are things I've longed to say to you for a very long time, but your heart was too entangled in fear and self-blame. I do not hold it against you. I understand why you pulled away. The weight of disappointment, the fragments of unfinished dreams, the unhealed wounds, all of it caused you to shrink inward and build walls that felt like safety. But today I do not come knocking with judgment, but with the sigh of my own spirit, echoing through your soul. My child, I'm still waiting, and this waiting has no expiration. My love does not count the hours, does not measure the distance, and does not fade with silence. You may turn away from me, but I have never turned my back on you. Every time you try to hide, I remain. Not to surveil, but to protect. Not to accuse, but to shelter. There were moments you thought you made it through on your own, but it was I who kept your feet from slipping. There were nights when you no longer wanted to keep living, and you couldn't understand why you were still here the next morning. Yet it was because I intervened. I stood between you and the edge of the abyss, and if you are still breathing today, it means my love is still writing the next chapter of your life. I know there are things that bring you shame, choices you wish you had never made, words you long to take back, emotions, reactions, habits, all of which have made you believe you've lost your place in my heart. But my child, I do not love only the polished version of you. I love the scattered parts, the aching places, the contradictions within you. I do not ask you to sort it all out before coming to me. It is precisely the unfinished parts that I long to embrace, so that I might be the one who completes you. True love does not wait until its object is worthy to reveal itself. True love enters into the mess. And I am unwavering love. I go where others walk away. I stay when everyone else leaves. I listen even when you have no words left. And the most precious moment in my eyes is not when you've built something impressive, but when you turn back while your heart is still trembling. If you turn back while your heart is still trembling, that weakness, placed into my hands, becomes a witness before all of heaven of the courage I have planted deep within your soul. My beloved, when I call you back, it is not to remind you of your failures, but to affirm this one truth: your place in my heart still remains. It has not been replaced. It has not been withdrawn. It has not been overtaken by another. If you would only return, I will wipe the dust of the road from your feet. I will not rehearse your mistakes. I will not define you by your past. Instead, I will take your repentance and build a new dwelling place, firm, warm, and filled with light. I do not call you back only because I love you. I call you back because you still carry a mission within you. There are things only you can fulfill. There are lives only you can reach. There are spiritual territories still awaiting your footsteps, not when you're perfect, but when you surrender. Don't believe that your failures have ruined every plan I've prepared for you. In truth, it is those very scars that will become the most vivid signs of healing. And through the very places where you once hurt, my light will shine most clearly. Do you know why the enemy wants to keep you in shame? Because he fears what will happen when you rise. He fears the prayer of a restored soul. He fears the boldness of someone who once fell, but now returns in faith. He fears that when you rediscover true love, you will no longer be governed by lies. And he's right. Because when my love floods in, there is no room for condemnation. When my light shines, all shadows are exposed and vanish. When you are in me, nothing from the past can hold power over you any longer. My precious one, when you come home, the first thing I do is not interrogate or judge you, but embrace you. Not a symbolic embrace, but a real one, full, complete, and sacred. The kind that breaks down every wall shame and sin have built around your heart. I do not mention old stains, for they have been washed away in the river of grace when you answered my call. I do not highlight your missteps, because what I now see is a heart that is softening, breaking open, and ready to be mended by my very hands. You don't know what happened in the realm of heaven when you said in your heart that you wanted to return. A cry of joy broke forth. A radiant light burst across every corner of the skies. A celebration was set in motion. For to me, a restored soul is more precious than the most lavish offerings. A broken heart that repents is the sweetest cup of wine poured out before my throne. You may have thought your return was quiet, unnoticed, but in truth, all of heaven rose in honor of you. My child, listen carefully. You are not coming back as a beggar. You return as a son, and not merely as a child of some distant ideal, but as one embraced in a real, intimate, sacred relationship. I did not merely assign you a seat in my house. I restored to you the robe of honor. I placed on your finger the ring that had always been set apart for this day, not because you earned it, but because I am your father. And a good father never withholds his most precious gifts from the child who returns in repentance and love. I know that in coming back you feel unready. You still see so much in your heart that is broken, so many weaknesses yet unresolved. But I did not call you to fix yourself before you can be received. I called you so that you would learn to live fully, dependent on my healing and my power. Day by day, moment by moment, I will carry out the work of restoration, not by your might, but by my Spirit working within you, silently yet powerfully. I will transform you not so you can earn acceptance, but because you have already been accepted. My beloved, others may still look at you with suspicion. They may not have forgotten your past, but I am not like man. I do not retain records of wrongs to be used as evidence. When I forgive, I cast every sin into the depths, never to be brought up again. You don't have to prove anything to reclaim your place in my heart. My love is not a contract based on conditions. It is an everlasting covenant, sealed in blood, confirmed by the Spirit, and upheld by my unwavering faithfulness. I know you once felt like a shattered vessel, too broken to be of any worth. But my child, I am the one who specializes in using the rejected to reveal glory. I do not look for flawless vessels. I search for willing ones. Through your cracks, I will let my light shine. In every broken piece, I will place the pure gold of healing. And what once brought you shame will become the song that bears witness to others who have lost their way. You are not merely forgiven, you are restored. You are not just welcomed, you are commissioned. Your past is not just erased, you are given a new future. A future I personally crafted before you ever knew your own name. There are places I am waiting for you to step into. There are words only you can speak to lift the weary. There are gates that will open only when you knock with the same hands once scarred by failure. I have used the ones thought least likely, and I will do the same through your life. Do not let this restoration stay only in your emotions. Let it become action. Rise up. Walk forward. Resume the things once left unfinished. Love those who once hurt you. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you were forgiven. Pray, not because you feel ready, but because I am still listening. Open your mouth and sing, even if your voice trembles. Because every step you take in weakness is a declaration of my unshakable love. My beloved child, in this moment, when everything around you is shifting, changing, and spiraling beyond your control, I want you to hold tightly to one unshakable truth. I do not change. The seasons of your life may whirl by so quickly they leave you dizzy, but I am the one who is not bound by time, unaffected by circumstances, and unmoved by sudden wind. When the earth quakes, when the world you once knew no longer holds its familiar shape, My gaze remains fixed on you with the same love as it did in the beginning. I know you feel the movement taking place. Something deep within you is whispering, things are no longer the same, and you are right. This is a new season, a time when I am allowing many old things to fall away. Not because I want you to experience loss, but because I am preparing a stronger foundation. I do not build the future of your life upon things that merely appear stable from the outside. I build it upon the unshakable truth within you, that you belong to me and that my light lives inside of you, no matter how thick the darkness around you becomes. You do not need to understand everything I am doing. You only need to take my hand. The upheaval in your life is not a sign that I am withdrawing, but rather a signal that I am beginning something new. Just as a seed must break open in the dark before it sprouts, just as the sky must turn gray before dawn appears, the shaking you are enduring is the prelude to the greatness I am preparing ahead. You may think everything is falling apart, but in truth, everything is being reshaped by my own hand. Remember, my child, that light does not cease to exist just because dark clouds roll in. Light remains even when hidden, and the light I have placed within you is the same. Though your circumstances may be clouded with doubt, though the voices of the world may dim your hope, the light of my spirit in you does not fade. The question is not whether you have the light, it is whether you still believe that it is strong enough to guide your path, even if only one step at a time. I do not require you to see the whole picture in order to move forward. I only ask that you trust I am walking ahead of you. Do not wait until everything is clear. Do not wait for the storm to fully pass. Learn to walk in the middle of the tempest, with a faith that does not depend on sight, but on the word I have spoken. I never promised to always calm the storm before you step out, but I did promise that even in the fiercest winds, you would not be overcome if you walk with me. You are in a moment where nothing feels certain. The things you once counted on now feel unstable. The people you once trusted no longer keep their promises. But this is precisely the opportunity for you to discover something deeper, that I alone am the unshakable foundation. I am the rock upon which you can rebuild your life, no matter what you have lost. The things you believed were core may have only been outer layers. The connections you thought were roots may have only been branches. I am purifying, so that what remains will be what is true. I have not abandoned you in the midst of change. On the contrary, I am nearer than ever. But it is in seasons like these that you must learn something new. How to hear my voice in the whirlwind. For I do not only speak through peace, I also speak through chaos. I do not only dwell on mountaintops, I also walk with you through the deepest valleys. Do not assume that I am only there when all is calm. Remember, I am the God of your darkest nights, of the unanswered moments, and of the most unpredictable seasons. My child, the light within you is not fragile. It is part of the new being I have placed inside you. It is not extinguished by fleeting emotions. It is not destroyed by moments of disappointment. It does not grow dim just because you are trembling. That light is me living within you. And because I do not change, that light will never fade. You only need to tend it by remaining close to me, by choosing to listen to my voice rather than the loud clamor of the world. This is the season for you to learn how to walk, not because everything is convenient, but because your heart is steadfast. This is the time for you to hold on to your faith, not because of visible evidence, but because of your trust in the one who never lies. What I have spoken to you does not change just because your circumstances have shifted. My promises do not lose their power just because you are waiting in a hallway that seems endless. I am still working, I am still moving, and my light will reach even the coldest corners, if only you do not give up hope. My beloved child, when the familiar begins to fall apart, when unexpected turns leave you bewildered, I do not want you to panic. Stop. Be still. Listen to me in the quiet, because it is in the midst of chaos that true light breaks forth. I have not allowed you to walk through this season of transition without guidance. I have not left you to be swept away in uncertainty without a firm anchor. I myself am the anchor of your soul, and I will not allow it to drift loose in the storm. You are walking through a season where many things you once leaned on are shaking, and what seemed secure turns out to be temporary. Some relationships are no longer holding their original shape. Some dreams need to be set aside. Some journeys you thought would continue, but now I am calling you to change direction. None of this means you are failing. It only means I am repositioning you. I am moving you away from places that have dried up to bring you into new ground, where faith must become your eyes, and obedience becomes the feet that carry you forward. Do not be alarmed when you can no longer feel what once was. Do not fear when you have not yet grasped what is to come. Between two seasons there is always a pause, a transitional place where you cannot live by memory, nor yet by hope. In that space, you need light. Not the dazzling blaze of noonday sun, but enough light to see the next step. I do not promise to show you the entire path, but I do promise never to let you walk without light for each small step. My child, learn to keep that light, not through pressure, but through devotion. Light is not sustained by fleeting feelings, but by a deep connection between you and me. The closer you draw to me, the clearer the light becomes. The more time you spend in my presence, the more you will discern what is true from what is a hollow echo. The enemy will try to blur your vision with shortcuts that appear easy, but only light from me leads to the path of life. This is the moment for you to become a keeper of the lamp within you. Just like the wise servant who fills his lamp with oil, waiting for the master's return, you too must fill your soul with my word, with prayer, with watchfulness. Do not let weariness cause the flame within you to die out. Do not let confusing headlines, sudden changes, or personal disappointments extinguish that precious flicker, my child. The light you carry is not your own. It is mine, entrusted to you to shine in these darkened times. Do you know this? It is precisely because the light within you is real that the darkness around you rages fiercely. It is because you are drawing closer to what I have appointed for you that the enemy is increasing confusion to wear you down. But do not be afraid, because true light doesn't just exist, it triumphs. Light does not need to wage war against darkness by force. It simply needs to be present. And when the light you carry comes from me, even if no one acknowledges it, it is already making a difference. Even when you walk through places where no one understands, that light is still illuminating the way for other souls groping through the night. My child, I have not called you to become a blazing torch for the whole world all at once. I simply ask that you keep the flame from going out. In the headwinds, in the tears, in the seemingly endless days of waiting, I desire that you still choose to keep your lamp burning. I know there are times when you grow weary, your hands tremble, your eyes blur, your heart tightens, but every time you rekindle hope, every time you choose obedience over confusion, every time you pray instead of complain, that is when the light within you grows stronger. And it is precisely in moments like these that you begin to understand light is not something outside of you to be chased. It is part of who you are when you remain in me. I am the light of the world, and if you are in me, then you are also light, no matter how weak you may feel. Not the light of someone who has everything, but the light of one who clings to me amidst uncertainty. Not the light of the strong, but the light of one upheld by grace. My child, do not chase after light in other places. Hold on to the light that is already burning inside you. Nurture it with praise, even when you see no reason to sing. Strengthen it with faithful decisions, even when you do not fully understand. Share it through small acts of love, even when there is no response. For each ray of light like that, gathered together, will transform this season of transition into a sacred path that leads to a season of blessing. When the light within you seems to flicker faintly amid the storm, I still see it. I do not look at you through the lens of perfection, but through the steadfast, faithful, and humble heart you have guarded through invisible tempests. Every day you choose to stay, every time you continue to believe, every step you take, even when you see nothing clearly, those are the moments that make me smile, for I know that you are not walking by emotion, but because you've learned to hear my voice, even in the most uncertain silence. You once asked, "Why is everything changing so quickly?" And I answer, because I am rescuing you from things that once fit, but no longer align with who you are becoming. There are people, paths, and dreams that were permitted for a season, but as you grow in grace, some things must naturally fall away. Not because you have done something wrong, but because I am leading you deeper into the destiny I ordained for you before the foundation of the world, and deeper places always require a purer light. I know that often you wonder whether your small light is enough to keep illuminating the way forward. You doubt your own worth because you do not see grand results. But my child, light is not measured by noise. Light is not compared by numbers. Light does not have to stand out to be real. Sometimes, the most precious light is the quiet one of the faithful in the secret place, the steady glow in the heart of prayer, the light that does not dazzle but never dies, and that is the light I have placed in you. I do not require you to shine like stars before crowds. I only ask that you do not extinguish the light between you and me. For if you are faithful in the hidden place, I will use that light to guide the souls who are lost. You do not need to shout. You do not need to be recognized. Just guard the flame in your soul, and I will cause it to shine at the right time, in the right place, for the right people. And in my design, no light is ever wasted. No prayer is ever unheard. No faithful tear is ever forgotten. And Moses said, "Wherefore come they?" Imagine this, my child, a dark room, one that no one dares to enter. Yet even a single candle, once lit, is enough to cause the darkness to retreat. and I have placed you as that candle in the room of a generation that has lost its way, not to burn, but to illuminate, not to draw glory to yourself, but to reflect my light. You don't need to understand every reason why I chose you. You only need to keep that light from going out. The rest, the miraculous, the part beyond what your mind can fathom, I will take care of. My child, this is the time for you to learn a deeper discernment, the difference between false light and true light. There are things that appear to shine, but they are merely fleeting flashes. There are things that glitter, but only to lead you into a maze of empty fame. Yet the light I have placed in you will not exhaust you. It will not require you to trade your soul for acceptance. My light brings you back to yourself, to peace, to clarity, and to a love that asks for nothing in return. You don't have to compromise your worth to shine. You only need to surrender to the true light to be guided. When you choose to live in that light, every shadow in your mind will gradually be driven back. The voices of judgment will lose their grip. The doubts that once held you captive will dissolve. And even as change continues around you, your soul will stand firm, anchored in the one who never changes. That is what I am doing. Not removing you from the storms, but anchoring your heart within them. Not stopping the winds, but teaching you how to keep the flame alive in the wind. Not shielding you from trials, but shaping you to carry light through them. You will see soon, very soon, that it is in this very season of chaos that your light will become clearer than ever before. No longer tainted by old motives, no longer buried under the weight of others' expectations, but a pure light reflecting the very love and truth you've chosen to live for my sake. And when that happens, you won't need anyone to affirm you, because I myself will affirm you. I will walk into the room of your life where you have quietly kept the flame burning and say, "This is the light I have chosen. This is my child, faithful in the little, and now ready for much." My beloved, do not underestimate the moments when you sit alone in the dark room. Do not belittle the prayers that no one hears. Do not look down on the times you refused counterfeit light just to protect the real one. I see it all. I record it all. And in the time I have appointed, I will turn everything you are enduring into a radiant testimony for your generation. Do not extinguish that flame. Treasure it as the soul's treasure, for from that very light I will bring forth a harvest beyond your greatest dreams. My child, there are things you're doing now that may seem small, quiet, unnoticed, but they are creating spiritual ripples far greater than you can imagine. The prayers you whisper in the still of night, the silent tears that fall when you choose to forgive, the obedient steps you take while your heart is still wrestling. Each one of these touches my heart. You don't need to shout for me to hear. You only need to keep praying, keep trusting, keep living with a heart that stays tender before my presence. And heaven will not stay silent. I see the times when you fall and yet choose to rise again. I see the battles in your soul that you don't speak of to anyone, and I have never turned my back. Don't think that I only act when you are strong. On the contrary, it is when you are weak, when you groan in prayers too deep for words, when you bring me the broken things you don't know how to fix. Those are the moments when I work most powerfully. For in your weakness, my power is made perfect. Beloved child, prayer is not the key that unlocks everything you desire. It is the bridge that connects you to me, and it is on that sacred bridge where miracles begin. When you pray not merely to request, but to listen, when you pray not only to change your circumstances, but to transform your inner self, when you pray not simply to escape the pain, but to be conformed to my image within that pain, then true restoration begins to take root within you. And from that inner restoration, I will rebuild your life, brick by brick, with a foundation that cannot be shaken. Do not be discouraged if your prayers are not answered immediately, for I am not the God of haste. I am the God of perfect timing. Everything I do in your life unfolds according to divine appointment, not early, not late. And while you wait, I am working beneath the surface. I am strengthening your foundation. I am deepening your faith, purifying your motives, and removing anything that does not align with my eternal design, to make room for what is better and lasting, and to protect you. My child, the restoration I am doing in you is not the kind the world attempts, patching up what is broken and calling it fixed. I do not mend with old patterns. I make all things new. I do not heal you so you can return to who you were. I heal you so you can become who I destined you to be from the beginning of time. That is why, sometimes, restoration comes with separation. Sometimes, to truly heal you, I must draw you away from certain ties, close doors you've been afraid to let go of, and uncover wounds you've tried to keep hidden. Not to hurt you further, but to heal you fully. From the root, know this: nothing you've been through is wasted in my hands. Even your failures, your regrets, your worst choices. Each thread can be woven into a radiant story of redemption if you surrender them, if you are willing to lay down your own way, if you trust me more than you fear falling short. Restoration does not require your perfection. It only asks for your willingness. And if you still carry even the faintest flicker of hope, I will breathe upon it until it becomes a flame that no darkness can extinguish. I am calling you back, not to a former feeling, but to a living relationship. Not so that you might strive harder to please me, but so you might enter into the rest found only in my unconditional love. And in that rest, the wounds you've carried for years will begin to soften. The burdens you've shouldered for far too long will be lifted, not in a moment of noise and spectacle, but in a steady, tender process. I will gently restore every part of you that was once shattered. Nothing is ever too late when it's placed in my hands. So pray, my child, even when peace has not yet settled in your heart. Bring me your broken pieces, even when words fail you. Keep your heart open, even when fear trembles through you. For I do not reject your weakness. I embrace it. And from that very place, I will birth a new season, a season of resurrection, a season of love that nothing can separate. Your restoration has already begun, not with a loud miracle, but with every whisper exchanged between you and me. No one else may see it, but heaven bears witness. And soon you will behold what no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no heart has imagined. For I am faithful, and my promise to you still stands, unshaken. I do not count prayers by how many times they are repeated. I listen to the rhythm of your heart, and as long as that heartbeat remains faithful, Even if faint, heaven continues to open little by little. You may not see it, but a foundation is being laid. You may not hear it, but the wind of the Holy Spirit is blowing across the dry fields within you. Do not measure my response by outward appearances. I do not act through noise. I move through endurance. The greatest miracles often begin with what seems most ordinary. You once longed for a dramatic shift, a clear turning point, a moment that would reverse everything. But instead, you find yourself still waiting. The circumstances remain unchanged. The dreams remain unfulfilled. The doors remain closed. But my child, one thing has already begun to change, and that is you. You are no longer as fragile as before. You are no longer easily shaken by storms. You no longer mistake my silence for abandonment. Because now you understand that sometimes I remain silent not because I am distant, but because I am teaching you to walk by faith, not by sight. The restoration I am doing in you does not happen overnight. It is a process of healing from the inside out, not merely soothing the surface, but renewing the very core. I am reshaping your faith, refining your emotions, and washing away the memories that once blurred your spiritual vision. And as I do this, I do not rush. Because things that endure must be built on an unshakable foundation. If you knew all that I was doing in the hidden place, to prepare you for the day you step into the light, you would never doubt again. You once thought restoration meant returning to where you used to be. But I never lead you backward. I always lead you forward. What was broken does not need to be patched back together, for I am creating something new, not a replica of the past, but something beyond what you've ever asked for. When you continue to offer me your raw places, your unshaped desires, your unnamed pain, you are giving me room to work. Every time, you do not give up. It is a spiritual advancement. Every time you kneel instead of quitting, it is a victory of faith. Every time you say, Lord, I still believe, another door of restoration opens wider. You are not alone on this journey. Even when those around you cannot see, even when the world does not recognize it, all of heaven is watching. And I, the one who began a good work in you, I will finish it. I do not begin something only to abandon it. I do not plant a seed only to leave it to wither in the wilderness. I water it daily with grace, with unwavering love, with whispers that your soul still hears even amidst the noise of the world. And when the season comes, that seed will sprout, not into a fragile flower, but into a strong tree that stands firm through the storms. My child, keep praying. Keep the flame of faith alive, even if it's only a flicker. Don't wait until you feel ready to pray. Don't wait for the perfect moment to draw near to me. It is precisely when you feel empty, when you feel broken, when you feel lost, that is when I am closest. You don't need to hide your exhaustion from me. You don't need to wear the mask of false strength. You only need to be honest. Just come. Just open your heart, and I will take care of the rest. You are closer to the threshold of transformation than you think. Perhaps nothing looks new on the surface, but in the spiritual realm, much has already begun to shift. What I have spoken will not be indefinitely delayed. The promises I have inscribed will not be erased. The seeds of faith you have sown will not remain buried forever. I am rearranging everything, not only to bless you, but so that from you, blessing may overflow to many others. For the restoration I give you is not the end. It is the beginning of a far greater mission. My child, I did not lead you through seasons of darkness just so you could survive. I did not stay by your side in the midst of tears, merely to wipe them away and then leave you to carry on as before. Every restoration I have done within you, every depth I have touched, was to prepare you for something greater, a commissioning. For now you are no longer just someone seeking healing. You are a vessel of healing. You are the one who carries scars that no longer bleed, but shine. And that light, not blinding, not loud, yet strong enough to pierce through the despairing hearts around you. I have poured into you a kind of anointing oil, not from glamorous experiences, but from the very places where you were broken. It is the oil that flows from the understanding of pain, from compassion forged in trials, from hands that once trembled, but now are steady with trust. You once needed comfort, but now I have made you into the comforter. You once waited for a hand to lift you up, but now I have made you the hand I extend to touch those still lost in the night of their lives. Do not doubt your worth because of the years of hardship. It is from the very places where you are crushed that I have molded a precious instrument. I do not require perfection from you. I require surrender. I did not choose you because you were strong. I chose you because you allowed me to be strong in you. And when restoration has taken deep root, you do not merely exist. You begin to bear fruit. It's not the kind of fruit that comes from striving, but from the flow of the Spirit through a soul that has chosen to listen, to learn, and to yield. You will not need to shout to prove you are called. The presence you carry will be the evidence. Some will not be able to explain why they feel peace when they are near you. Some will be awakened by a single gentle word you speak. Some who are about to give up will pause, because in you they see a testimony that restoration is real, that hope is still alive, and that God is still moving. You do not need to seek a stay. The light I have given you will find its way. Your faithfulness will open doors no man can shut. My child, understand this. Every wound you have ever carried, when placed in my hands, will become a doorway through which others can walk into healing. Do not be ashamed of your past. I have used it to write a vision that you yourself will live out. You are no longer a victim of what has been. You are a living, breathing, empowered testimony. Every deliverance you've walked through is a key, and now I will position you before souls who are screaming in silence, so you can unlock chains they no longer have the strength to break. You will not do this by your own might, but by the anointing from heaven that I poured over you in the very nights when you thought you would not make it. You are not just a lonely lamp in the dark. You are a bearer of fire. And that fire does not come from theory or knowledge, but from a life that has been melted and refined in the furnace of trials. You are the whisper that carries authority. You are the presence where the wounded feel safe. You are the image of love without judgment. You are the one who will kneel beside the fallen, not to look at them with pity, but to say, I've been there, and I know that God never gives up on anyone. From the very place where you stand I will send you, not with fame, not with titles, not with applause, because true power does not need human acknowledgement. It moves through presence. And when you walk in true restoration, you become my instrument, not through declarations, but through the very life you live. A life rebuilt from ashes, a life that is not just a miracle, but living proof that I am faithful. My child, keep moving forward. Each day, live as one who has been sent. Let my love pour out through your eyes. Let my mercy flow through every word you speak, through every small act of kindness. Do not think that you must accomplish something grand to be used by me. It is enough to love someone who is hard to love. It is enough to be patient with someone who is hurting. It is enough to pray for the one who cannot bring themselves to pray. When you live this way, you are multiplying what I have already done within you. And from there, an entire generation will be awakened, healed, and sent out. My child, it is time for you to see yourself through heaven's eyes, not through the lens of past failures, not through the limitations you've imposed on yourself, and certainly not through the labels others have tried to place upon you, but through the gaze of the one who created you. Me, the one who shaped every detail of your being with loving hands, and who called you out from the crowd with a purpose that cannot be replaced. You are not a wandering soul by chance, not a flickering light lost in a foggy world. You are chosen. You are part of my great design. And now, I am calling you into the very mission you were born to fulfill. You once lived with the question, "Who am I?" But my child, that question was never unanswered in my sight. Even as you groped your way through crossroads and confusion, your identity was already inscribed at my throne. You are a bearer of light. Not a light fabricated through your own striving, but one birthed out of communion with my spirit. A light that cannot be dimmed by circumstance. A light that cannot be strangled by the past. A light that cannot be stolen by human hands, because it originates from me, and once I have given it, no one can extinguish it. Lord Deacon, Lord Gnome, Lord Corp, Cod Teak, there have been moments when you believed your role was insignificant, your presence faint amidst a crowd moving too quickly. But it is precisely because you don't blend in, precisely because you cannot merge with the frantic current of this world, that proves you were made for something different. My child, if you feel like you don't belong in any mold, it is because I never created you to conform. I designed you to break new ground, and you will not walk alone. You will be the one to lead the wandering. You will bring light to places that have long been gripped by darkness. The calling upon your life is not a burden. It is a privilege. It doesn't come to pressure you into becoming something, but to remind you that you already are. You are already chosen. You are already anointed. You are already protected. And now I am calling you to rise, not with clenched fists, but with open hands. Not to conquer with might, but to shine with love. You don't need to see every step ahead. You only need to remain faithful to that still small voice within, and I will take care of the rest. Doors will open. Paths will emerge right beneath your feet. Because I am the one who makes a way through the sea, my child. When I say it is time, It is not a command of compulsion, but the tender invitation of a Father who longs to see you live fully in your divine potential. I do not need you to be flawless to be useful. I need you to be willing. For the great thing I am setting before you will not be birthed from personal effort, but from complete surrender. And that very surrender will become the firm foundation for your eternal destiny when you choose to believe, even when clarity eludes you. When you choose to walk forward, even when your heart is trembling. That is when you shake the spiritual realm. You once believed that only extraordinary people could accomplish extraordinary things. But I say to you again, what is extraordinary begins with simple faith. It begins with whispered prayers in secret. It begins with every moment you refuse to compromise, with every decision to love instead of retaliate. These choices, though seemingly insignificant in the eyes of the world, are being recorded on my divine map, and in my sight, they are far greater than you could imagine. Because you are not living for a fleeting world, but for a kingdom that cannot be shaken. My child, there are moments in life that appear to be just small steps, quiet choices, or prayers no one else hears. Yet in the spiritual realm they have shaken the heavens. You may not realize it, but every silent act of obedience is being recorded in the chronicles of heaven. I am writing a great story that transcends the limits of time, and you are a living sentence in that eternal manuscript. It is not the ones who are famous who shape spiritual history, but the souls who quietly choose faithfulness, who choose love, who walk in the soundless call of heaven, even when no one knows their name. You are not living for yourself alone. Each time you rise from your wounds, each time you choose to forgive when you have every right to condemn, each time your lips release praise though your heart is heavy, you are laying a foundation that no one sees, but one that will never be shaken. Scratching, hurting, looking, waiting, and it will. I have used nameless people to stir nations, and now I am using you, not through visible weapons, but through a heart refined in fire, through a faith that needs no explanation, and through a love that expects nothing in return. Do you remember David, my child? Before he was anointed king, he was simply a shepherd in the wilderness, unnoticed, uncelebrated. But I saw him. I heard his songs where no audience gathered. I received every melody, every tear, every battle he fought against lions and bears, not for glory, but out of a faithful heart. And when the time I appointed came, he emerged from obscurity, carrying my anointing, and became a writer of sacred history that could not be erased. So it is with you. Though now you may not see it clearly, you are living within a page that I am presently writing. And your name is not missing from the heavenly record. Do not let your eyes be clouded by appearances. My plans do not unfold according to the world's patterns of prominence. My kingdom is not built on noise, but on foundations of deep obedience. The more faithful you are in the little things, the more I can entrust to you the greater things, not because you earned them, but because you allowed me to soften your heart, and that is what I seek most in the one who carries my mission. A heart tender before me, ready to be broken, willing to obey, willing to love even when love is not returned. Know this, nothing you have gone through has ever been in vain. not the long nights where no one understood, not the silent tears of failure, not the weight that felt like it would crush your very soul. All of it is becoming the raw material for the work I am about to do. For I do not write a story made only of triumphs. I write with redeemed failures, with tears that have been wiped away, and with weakness that has been lifted by my grace. The story I write through your life will not meet human standards of perfection, but it will bear the seal of my power, and no one will ever be able to replicate or steal it. And do you know, even now, right in this moment, as you are still learning to walk through uncertainties, as you continue to pray without yet seeing the answers, as you choose to believe even when your heart is clouded with doubt, it is now that my angels are standing beside you, recording every moment. Not a single action done in me is overlooked. Not one whispered prayer that reaches heaven is carried away by the wind. Every one of these things is building the testimony of your life. And the day will come when you will stand before your generation as a living witness that says, God never forgets. He never leaves anyone behind. My beloved, this is not the end. This is the turning point, the threshold between what has been and what I am now making new. What you've just walked through wasn't meant to close a chapter, but to open the way into a deeper, more intricate part of my plan for you. One you never even dared to imagine. You are not emerging from this journey empty-handed. You are not emerging from this journey empty-handed. You carry treasures forged in tears, in faith, and in the unshakable love I have poured into you. You may not realize it yet, but even the seemingly insignificant offerings you gave, those prayers you whispered when you had no strength left, those cries for me in the darkness, those decisions to trust when no one stood beside you, those were the foundation stones upon which I am now building something within you that cannot be shaken. You have walked with me this far, and now I want you to know that a new door is opening before you. Not a door leading into more exhaustion, but into the eruption of what I have promised, prepared, and whispered into your heart years ago. This is the time when every seed you've planted in silence will begin to push through the soil and break into the light. This is a season of spiritual fruitfulness, where things you thought had died will begin to breathe again. This is the moment when I reward hearts that did not give up, not with fleeting material gain, but with the fulfillment of my word, with the revealing of my presence upon your life, and with a radiance that cannot be hidden in the night. Don't look back and only see missed opportunities. Don't count your losses and think I have forgotten your longings. Every dream I've breathed into your soul has never been erased. They have only been preserved, waiting to bloom in their appointed time. And beloved one, that time has come, not because you've done enough, but because I am faithful, not because you are strong, but because I am the one who upholds your weakness, not because you are deserving, but because my love for you has never changed. From the moment you didn't even know my name, to this very second, when you're ready to step into your season of fulfillment. Leave the past behind, not to deny it, but so that it no longer binds you. What you've learned, what you've endured, what you've lost, these are your tools, not your chains. Don't carry the weight of past failures, because I have washed them all away. Don't cling to doors that have closed, because I only shut what you no longer need to walk through. I am placing a new key in your hand, one that opens a destiny not just for you, but for those who will find life through your testimony. You have been called to blaze a trail. You have been chosen to be a living signpost among a disoriented generation. You are my answer to the thirst that stirs in many hearts. Those waiting to see a life that reflects heaven's love and power. And you will not go alone. I am not merely sending you, I am going with you. I am not just speaking promises, I am releasing power. I am not just laying my hand upon you, I am overshadowing you with my covering through every challenge that lies ahead. Take heart, for very soon you will see me move faster, clearer, and more resolutely than ever before. What has been delayed will be untied. Promises that seemed long forgotten will return, alive and complete. Because I shall return and protect you. Let us celebrate. If my promises had seemed long forgotten, will return. Alive and complete. Those who once doubted your transformation will be left in awe, for I am not only working within you, I am about to make that work public before the eyes of many, not so that you may be glorified, but so that my name may shine in the midst of a darkened generation. My child, when you look into the future and feel afraid, remember that I have already gone ahead. When you feel inadequate, remember that my grace is sufficient. When you feel alone, close your eyes, for in that very moment, I am drawing nearer than ever before. Not every day will be easy, but my presence is in each one. Not every path will be smooth, but every twist and turn is marked on the map of wisdom I have drawn for your life. So don't stop now. Keep walking forward. With a faith that doesn't demand immediate results. With obedience that doesn't require full understanding. With a love for me that surpasses the need for human approval. And in the end, when you look back, you won't see a tangled mess of disconnected days, but a marvelous journey where I have written the love story of a soul who dared to believe, dared to take each step, dared to shine as light in the darkness. That is your portion in the eternal history I am bringing to completion. Now, offer up to me your sincere prayer. You may speak these words from your heart. Lord, I come before you not with a perfect image, but with a broken heart in need of healing. I release all efforts to fix myself and place into your hands each shattered piece of my soul. Please step into the deepest places within me, places I've hidden away, where pain has no name but still lingers. You see even the wounds I've forgotten how to cry over. Please soothe them with your presence. Wash them with tears from heaven, and restore them by your gentle hands. I believe that whatever you touch will not only be healed, but used for a glorious purpose. Breathe life back into my heart, Father. Lord, when I do not understand the path, teach me to trust the one who leads it. When I cannot see the outcome, teach me to believe in your good intention. I choose not to walk according to fleeting feelings, but to cling to every word you have spoken, even when I do not understand why. In the blurry places of life, where reason fails to guide me, help me to walk by faith, with love, with a heart that chooses obedience. I do not need control. I only need you to hold my hand tightly. Please pour your peace into every step I take. Lord, I have carried burdens far too long, burdens you never meant for me to bear. I've held on to memories, blaming myself for things I cannot change, but now I let go. I place in your hands my mistakes, my unfinished dreams, even the accusing voices that echo within me. Break every invisible chain that holds me back from stepping into the new. I believe the blood of your Son is powerful enough to redeem all things. You do not call me according to my past, but according to your eternal plan. I choose to walk in freedom, not because I deserve it, but because you paid the price in full. Lord, I hear the call from heaven, awakening my soul. I no longer want to live for myself. Please send me to where you need at the time you have appointed, with the message that only I carry. Set a fire within me, not to consume me, but to shine through me. I do not ask for ease, only that your presence goes with me. Grant me wisdom from above, a love great enough to embrace others, and the courage to speak what must be spoken, even when I feel small. I am yours. Use me in a way that makes your name glorious. Lord, I know that true faith is not shown only in peaceful days, but in the moments when I must stand firm in the storm. When everything seems to push against me, let my heart not retreat. When the dream feels too distant, help me remember that none of your promises are in vain. Teach me to praise you even in the prison, to trust even when no miracle appears, and to love you not because of what you do, but because of who you are. I know this battle is not meant to destroy me, but to reveal your glory through my life. Lord, I now stand at the threshold of a new season, both eager and trembling, but I will not step back. I believe you have not brought me this far just to abandon me along the way. I believe that everything you have prepared in the hidden places will be unveiled in this appointed time. Expand my vision so that I will not be limited by fear. Strengthen my steps so that I will not stumble over old doubts. This is your hour. This is the day I choose to walk forward, not by my own strength, but in the anointing of your Holy Spirit. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. If you love the Lord, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of his life-giving messages. Together, we will grow in faith and live a life fully immersed in his love. Amen.